What would you do if the people who laughed at you in public didn't realize their entire future depended on your signature? In a glass, walled boardroom high above the city, a single mother sat silently, her hands steady, her eyes calm. Across from her, a panel of executives exchanged smirks, whispering about her appearance, her background, her confidence. They thought she didn't belong. They didn't know that within hours, their company's 300 million lifeline would rest in her hands. This wasn't just a meeting, it was a reckoning. Because sometimes, power doesn't shout, it simply waits for the right moment to speak. Her name was Monica Hayes, a 38-year-old financial strategist, mother of one, and survivor of every barrier the corporate world could throw at her. Raised in a modest neighborhood by a single mother herself, Monica learned early that intelligence without courage was useless. She studied at night, worked double shifts, and fought her way into rooms that weren't built for her. Now, she sat as the lead negotiator for Apex Capital, a global investment firm evaluating a $300 million partnership with Brightline Technologies, a startup known for its arrogance as much as its innovation. From the moment she walked into that boardroom, Monica felt it. The dismissive tone, the sidelong glances, the subtle comments disguised as small talk. "Impressive resume," one man said, especially for a single mom. The room laughed, but Monica smiled, not because she found it funny, but because she'd seen this before. The louder they laughed, the less they saw. As the meeting began, she kept her tone steady, her notes sharp, her focus absolute. Every joke, every interruption, every condescending smile only fueled her calm precision. But what no one in that room knew, not yet, was that Apex Capital's board had given her full authority to finalize or cancel the deal. And as the executives spoke over her, mocked her questions, and rolled their eyes at her analysis, they were digging the grave for their own future. The presentation dragged on. Charts, projections, and self-praise filled the air. The CEO of Brightline, a tall man with expensive shoes and cheap respect, addressed every man in the room except her. When Monica asked questions, he'd pause, blink, and say, "We'll cover that later." He never did. At first, she stayed silent. But silence, when deliberate, becomes power. She observed everything, their arrogance, their assumptions, their desperation hidden behind confidence. After 2 hours, the tension shifted. Monica began her analysis. Calm, factual, precise. She outlined risks they hadn't seen, market variables they'd ignored, and inconsistencies in their revenue model. The room grew quiet. Then, a vice president leaned back and smirked. "You've got quite an imagination for someone who's not in the field." The laughter returned, but this time Monica didn't smile. She closed her folder slowly. The air changed. "I see," she said softly. In that instant, something in the room cracked, not loudly, but permanently. Because while they were busy protecting their egos, she was protecting something far greater: her integrity, her work, and the value of every woman who'd been dismissed before her. Monica had done her homework. Brightline wasn't the golden company they pretended to be. Their financials were propped up by exaggerated valuations and a pending legal dispute they hadn't disclosed. She'd caught them. And now she had proof. But instead of exposing them right away, she let them continue, watching them drown in their arrogance. When they finished, she simply said, "Thank you for your time," and she walked out. Behind her, the laughter faded, replaced by confusion. Hours later, in her corner office at Apex Capital, Monica drafted a single-page memo. It was short, clinical, and absolute. Effective immediately, Apex Capital will terminate all ongoing negotiations with Brightline Technologies. Reason: material misrepresentation and lack of professional integrity during engagement. She attached her findings. Every red flag, every inconsistency, every detail they had tried to hide. Then she signed it. By evening, Brightline's phones were ringing non-stop. Their investors panicked. Their stock plummeted overnight, inside their own boardroom. The same men who had laughed at Monica were now scrambling to explain how they'd lost the biggest deal in their company's history. And their only chance at survival. News spread quickly Apex Capital had pulled out, citing ethical and financial concerns. Other investors followed. Within weeks, Brightline collapsed. And Monica, she didn't gloat. She didn't post or speak publicly. She simply went home, helped her daughter with homework, and smiled quietly over dinner, because revenge wasn't her goal. Respect was, and she'd earned it, not through anger, but through excellence. As later, during a leadership conference, Monica was invited to speak. She walked on stage, calm and poised, just as she had been that day in the boardroom. She didn't name names or recount the mockery. Instead, she spoke about presence, the strength of standing still when the room tries to shake you. She spoke about silence, the kind that doesn't surrender but strategizes, and she ended with a truth every listener felt deep inside. People will underestimate you. They'll test your patience, your worth, your identity. Don't fight for their validation. Let your results speak louder than their prejudice. The applause was quiet at first, then overwhelming, because every woman in that audience had lived a version of Monica's story, a moment when she had to choose between reacting or rising. Monica didn't just cancel a deal. She redefined what power looks like. Sometimes justice doesn't need to shout. It just needs one person brave enough to say, "No, not this time,"